The LA Sparks ownership just made a move to potentially bring in Caitlin Clark, White Indiana Fever, Kelly Crosskoff, Amber Cox, Lynn Dunn. Count your days. The GOAT is gonna get the hell away from you very, very soon.
Caitlin Clark of the Indiana Fever is the most watched player in the history of women's professional basketball. A player averaged 21.2 points per game in 2026. A player who has raised WNBA television viewership to previously unheard of levels since joining the league. A player who transformed a team that most people had forgotten about into the most talked about team in the sport. If you like the content, please think about liking this video and subscribing to the channel. The fact that nearly 92% of visitors have not yet subscribed may surprise you. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. Have you signed up yet? Wonderful. Thank you so much for your assistance. I'm going back to the video now.
And we've already been informed she is on minutes restriction yet again. She will be playing 20 to 25 minutes yet again. Stephanie White is going to fuck with her.
Additionally, the head coach of the team refuses to grow around her. She doesn't give her the kind of assistance that a famous person of that caliber should. She takes her spot in games at the worst possible times. She forces her to take part in a system designed for someone else. Now that the Los Angeles Sparks have made it clear that they are interested in Clark and that a new, powerful ownership group is putting real organizational components in place to build something around her, Stephanie White is impeding the move.
Stephanie White is keeping it her big plan to keep Caitlin Clark on these minute restrictions. Now, we know before last game, Aaliyah Boston did not play. Aaliyah Boston came into this game versus the Phoenix Mercury, played 38 damn minutes. She did not play 2 minutes here, 3 minutes there, pull her out, completely killed her rhythm. Whatever the case is, it's clear to me, and it should be clear to you, that Stephanie White has a clear agenda against Caitlin Clark. She do not want to let her get in the rhythm. She do not want her to be herself.
She won't let Clark go, even if she doesn't truly desire him. As a result, Clark is confined to Indiana, creating a franchise that she may not wish to stay in. And LA is there, watching, planning, and building.
Being laid. I don't know. I tried to tell you guys, okay? I tried to tell y'all, Michael Thompson, Laker legend, wasn't just saying things just to be saying things. He has intel on what the hell is going on in LA, and especially with this new ownership group, who is the same ownership group that have made big moves for the Lakers. They're looking to make a major splash with
Before we get into the blocking and drama, you need to understand the current situation of the Los Angeles Sparks because they are not the same team that has been out of business for the previous 10 years. The Sparks are owned by a group headed by Mark Walter. Walter became the Los Angeles Lakers' primary owner in late 2025 after the NBA Board of Governors authorized his acquisition of a controlling stake from the Buss family. Walter also owns the Los Angeles Dodgers. He is the CEO of Guggenheim Partners, a global investment firm with over $340 million in assets. This person is not a casual sports fan. This individual is successful. His Dodgers have been in the World Series race for a number of years. His Lakers are the Lakers, and his Sparks are the next project.
Right now, if you don't think the LA Sparks got something cooking, you're damn crazy. You're crazy. And if you ain't following the news, you better get to connecting the dots.
Another member of the owning group is Magic Johnson, the same Magic Johnson who has a personal history of achievement in Los Angeles. Despite having a franchise, Walter and Magic are not becoming respectable. They are getting ready to become the story. And the biggest story in women's basketball right now is Caitlin Clark.
One too, right? Like, she is unique in when the ball crosses half court, it's in the scoring zone. We have our hands full. You can't lose sight of her for a half a second. So we'll mix up what we're doing with her, mix up who's guarding her. But I don't think it matters that she hasn't played here since 24. She is who she is, and as much as her scoring, shooting is a threat, her passing is even more dangerous. So we've got to be locked in, and it's not just, whoever's guarding her. It's got to be all 5 people locked in, head on a swivel, because she's unbelievable.
Walter and Magic hired Lynn Roberts to manage the basketball department. She contributed to Utah being a consistent NCAA tournament participant during her 9 years there. She is not a rookie coach attempting to learn the ropes. She is a builder, and she has been aggressive ever since she walked into the building.
Making a run towards Caitlin Clark. Now, with that being said, last week we seen them sign none other than Kate Martin, one of Caitlin Clark's close friends from Iowa. We've been seeing Caitlin Clark subliminally pull up with her CC1s in the LA Sparks colorway. Now, with that being said, if you mean to tell me that if it walk like a duck, talk like a duck, quack like a duck, it's a damn duck. And that's exactly what the LA Sparks is doing.
In May 2026, the Sparks signed Kate Martin. If you're not paying attention, allow me to explain why it matters. Kate Martin was a teammate of Caitlin Clark at Iowa. She saw the incredible NCAA run. She and Clark are genuinely connected, and she doesn't need a coaching session to explain Clark's playing style. You don't just happen to sign Kate Martin in the middle of a WNBA season. That is an additional clue, a message. Then there's Kelsey Plum, a competent offensive weapon who can collaborate with a ball-controlling guard. The Sparks do more than just collect dead bodies. They are assembling a team to help a point guard who aspires to be creative and possess the ball. They are concentrating on a man they don't even have at the moment.
The beginning of the groundwork. One, Caitlin Clark has a wonderful, wonderful relationship with Cameron Brink that stems back to their Team USA days as high schoolers. Okay, that's one. Two, they brought in Caitlin Clark's best friend in the world. You are my best friend in the whole wide world. Kate Martin in the whole wide world. They brought in Kate Buddy Martin from Iowa, okay? Now, they have decided to part ways with the GM, and they are going to be looking to make...
Let's talk about what Caitlin Clark is now doing on a basketball court, because the argument for her remaining in Indiana starts to fall apart as soon as you look at the numbers. She is averaging a career-high 21.2 points per game in 2026. In her 3rd season as a professional, she is continually improving. She has another all-star option. She was named MVP of the FIA Women's World Cup qualifying tournament in March 2026. The Fever Liberty game on June 6th was viewed by an average of 2.557 million viewers on CBS, the most watched WNBA game on any network this season, and the 2nd most watched women's basketball game since 2000. Do we treat her as the main character or as one of several parts? The answer is awkward in light of everything that has happened this season.
Steph, just following up on Caitlin from earlier, she didn't practice yesterday. Why was she not listed on the injury report, or why wasn't the injury report updated like earlier today if she woke up with soreness in her back?
Well, not everybody that doesn't practice or gets a pro day is on the injury report, so that happens all the time. And she wasn't listed on the injury report earlier because we expected her to play.
And is she injured? I guess is a fair question. Is she injured, or is it something other than an injury?
Her back is sore. So if there's anything more detailed than that, that's the training staff.
Do you think the Fever could get fined for not listing her as
No.
on the injury report?
Let's start with the moment that made everyone stop and concentrate. Fever versus Portland Fire on May 31st. Stephanie White pulls Clark during the first quarter. Later on, the Fever lose by a 16-point score, 100-84. During a second quarter timeout, the cameras show Clark and White getting into what appears to be an angry confrontation. Clark shakes her head noticeably, gets to her feet, and follows White. Everybody in the country is watching. White later explained that it was a minutes constraint and that it was part of the plan. The issue with that notion, however, is that your strategy led to a 16-point loss after you cut your best player. However, if the protection cost you the game and your star players' trust on national television, the plan needs to be changed. White and Clark both publicly declared that there was no issue. Specifically, Clark said, "I ride for Steph." Maybe she was serious because the footage is there. two competitive people are at odds with each other during a devastating loss. Reporters are told by both parties that it was nothing, but that doesn't change.
So when my neighbor comes up to me and tells me that he's so frustrated he's yelling at the TV because he wants Caitlin to shoot more, and you see social media, of course you do, and we all do, and we see frustration if Caitlin doesn't have the ball or if something goes wrong or if the team doesn't play well in the fourth quarter, all those things that happen in sports. What's your answer to those fans? I don't know that I really have an answer for the fans. I think, I have to answer to our team, and our franchise. And we're trying to win ball games. We're not trying to appease the masses.
The frustration really starts to build at this point since there is a documented public sentiment in Indiana that the team shouldn't be centered around Caitlin Clark. Individuals associated with the franchise made a direct prediction about it. If Caitlin Clark is the system, you won't be successful. Think about that for a second. The most effective offensive player on your club shouldn't be the system that drives your ticket sales, TV ratings, jersey sales, cultural relevance, and coaching philosophy. Reddit users have been making it clear for months. One comment summed it up. Instead of focusing on the enthusiasm surrounding Clark and her fast-paced style of play, White is building a squad around her own. That perspective of view is not unusual. The Sparks wouldn't do that. Los Angeles is specifically designed for a guard who sets the pace and creates for teammates, thanks to Lynn Roberts' goals and Mark Walters' resources. They want the system to participate. They want that player to be the main attraction. They want her to serve as the offense's main conduit.
Caitlin to the ground, and boom, that's a hand to the neck, and then Alyssa Thomas steps over.
Man, this is so disgusting, bro. This is why AT get the type of commentary that she gets. Look, that was unnecessary, bro. She literally punched.
But it's more than just coaching. It's the atmosphere of Indiana as a whole. On June 24th, Mercury will face fever. Alyssa Thomas is driving into a loose ball situation. She clenches her fist and hits Clark in the throat. Thomas gets to his feet. She looks down at Clark. She steps on her. The referees didn't witness any of it in real time. The game kept moving forward. Clark sat down on the floor. When reporters eventually questioned White about the missed calls, she called them outrageous. One game for using a closed fist to strike the league's most prominent player in the throat. Clark missed the next 2 games due to a back problem that got worse during the same game. After taking a hit that ought to have resulted in an instant ejection and a serious league review, the 24-year-old was suspended for 1 game.
Several members of Congress sent a letter this week to Commissioner Engelbert. They said they're concerned about what they called physical hostility and violence toward her. One line in particular said, quote, "Concerning reports suggest that many of these attacks against Caitlin Clark may be racially motivated." What's your reaction to that? No, I understand that. I just mean as a coach, when you hear one of your players is being mentioned in a letter from members of Congress to the commissioner of the league, how do you handle that?
Again, that's not something we can control. We're not affiliated with those groups, and we try to keep the main thing, and focus on the things that we...
The current state of affairs should make no one in the WNBA's front office feel comfortable. A group of 11 Republican congressmen, led by U.S. Representative August Pfluger of Texas, submitted a formal letter to WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert on July 7th, demanding responsibility. The league refers to Clark as its face. They mention specific incidents of unwarranted physical hostility and violence, like Alyssa Thomas's neck hit, eye pokes, and hip checks. They made reference to potential DOJ intervention if the pattern of behavior reaches the level of civil rights offenses. They also gave Engelbert till July 24th to respond. The WNBA commissioner received a letter from Congress regarding a single player. The league's leadership has been reluctant to acknowledge the mistreatment. That is a professional WNBA reporter with the necessary qualifications. She doesn't have a Twitter account, and her assessment is in line with all of the video evidence. Clark is the target. The league moves slowly. Furthermore, the offense shouldn't revolve around her, according to the head coach of the team that is supposed to be her home and guardian.
A lot of questions, and obviously I haven't been available for like a week or so. So, first of all, I know what you guys are going to ask, and I did think it was a flagrant foul. And our reffing just needs to be better. And, it's tough. Obviously, the refs are in a really difficult spot. It's one of the hardest jobs in the world, in my opinion, is to make calls. All you do is get yelled at the whole time by everybody. You're never winning. So I think for us, as the league's just got to do better protecting our players in that regard. I don't really think that it was up for debate. Obviously, it wasn't called in real time. You go back and watch the clip. I think it's pretty straightforward. It's kind of been a discussion for 3 years now, and I think we really need to do a better job protecting.
Clark told the cameras after her injury-related absence that the league needs to enhance player protection. She believes that officiating needs to improve. Furthermore, since she is Caitlin Clark, she condemned the harassment that other WNBA players experienced after the controversy. The Los Angeles Sparks are closely monitoring all of this. They are watching every game, news conference, every substitution pattern. They are building the case for what is right when they see how poorly Indiana handled this. The Indiana Fever guaranteed Clark a salary of $597,596 by exercising their team option on her contract for the 2027 season before the season even began. In 2028, she will be a restricted free agent. Restricted permits Indiana to match any offer, but it does not prevent the Sparks from making one. If Clark wins WNBA MVP in 2026, she might be eligible for a protected maximum of $1.3 million in 2027 and a super maximum of $1.7 million in 2028. For a player whose face generates broadcast ratings that haven't been seen in women's basketball since 2000, that is still significantly less than her market value. The Sparks can match the structure, though. It can be surpassed by rewards, facilities, star treatment, and the kind of organizational dedication that declares, "You are the reason we are here." A financial amount can be matched by Indiana. They are incomparable to the ideals of Los Angeles.
She's going to be on a minutes restriction, around 20 to 25, so we'll see what that looks like. But she will be available and able to play still with a minutes restriction.
You expect the same kind of distribution of how you handle those minutes by quarter as last time in LA?
No, because that's 10 more minutes a game than we had the last time. So, I think you can go for longer periods. I think the biggest thing is, when you haven't done anything really for a couple of weeks, it's endurance, right? It's building endurance, it's efficiency, it's getting back in rhythm, getting back with timing and flow and all of those things, and trying to expand the longer periods of time.
Stephanie White can stop this action for the time being. She can reassure the reporters that everything is fine. She can talk about competitive relationships and hard coaching, but she can't deny that Caitlin Clark is 24 years old, averaging career numbers and witnessing a team in one of the biggest markets for the sport put together a roster that fits her playing style. She is helpless to stop the most powerful ownership group in women's basketball history from making her the center of attention. Clark has behaved in a professional manner. She has been cautious. She has not openly criticized anyone and has defended her coach in every press conference, but she's not naive. She's watching what Los Angeles is building. She signed Kate Martin. She brought in Kelsey Plum. The team's objective is to win, according to her new head coach. You can trap someone's body in a contract. You are unable to understand what they're thinking. It's also feasible that Caitlin Clark's mind is currently heading toward Crypto.com Arena via the 405 freeway. Indiana must fast understand that the Walter Group does not lose these kinds of races.